Now, on the phone with us is House Judiciary Committee Chairman, Congressman Bob Goodlatte. Congressman, great to have you back. Is it fair to say that among all the thousands of emails, there are some that shouldn't be there?
Well, that's obviously the reason why the FBI director felt it very important to let the Congress and the American people know that this investigation was moving forward after he had already said that the investigation was completed, and Mrs. Clinton had spent the last 3.5 months traveling around the country telling people that she'd been cleared. So it's not only of interest because these emails are there, but also of interest because we know that she gave false testimony before the House Select Committee on Benghazi when she claimed that all of the emails had been turned over. The Inspector General of the State Department made it clear that she had not turned over all the emails. And as a result of that, we've referred to the Justice Department an assertion that she testified falsely under oath, that and 3 other matters, and asked them to look into whether or not she'd committed perjury before the time. We've not heard a word about that in 3 months.
Do you think she did?
I do think she did, and it's entirely possible that emails that show up in this new investigation may confirm that.
You know, Congressman, what's interesting about the chain of events here is in looking at the Congressman Weiner emails and everything else that came as part of this sexting alleged charge, and all of this stuff came up. Apparently, agents were sitting on this or had, access to this weeks ago. Now, there's an argument to be made as to they couldn't pounce on any of that because that just was ancillary to the sexting investigation. And only last Thursday, I believe, then Mr. Comey became aware of that. What do you just think of that?
I don't know the internal facts. I do know that there have been many, many reports, and I personally have heard from prosecutors, former FBI agents, and others who have reported about the internal concern in the department about how this investigation had been conducted earlier on. And so I think that given the fact that the Attorney General of the United States got on board an aircraft on a tarmac in Arizona with Mrs. Clinton's husband, the former president, a few days later she said, oops, I guess I shouldn't have done that. I'm going to defer to the people investigating this case as to whether or not there should be a prosecution. A few days later, Mr. Comey, for what reason I don't know, because he is the head of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, not Federal Bureau of Prosecution, he made it very clear that he had found that Mrs. Clinton had violated a number of provisions of the Espionage Act, that nonetheless it didn't give rise to a level where she should be prosecuted. Many people were concerned about that, I think including people inside the department and inside the Bureau. And as a result of that, plus his testimony before Congress where he said, if we find new substantial information, we will renew this and we'll let you know, I think he simply was feeling that he could not wait and have this either leaked or have it come out after the election.
Well, that was his argument, right, that he felt that if he had sat on this, he could be charged later on with influencing the election by sitting on it. Now, quite the irony is that a lot of people are saying that now, particularly Democrats, that that's exactly what happened. Now, the Justice Department, we're told, sir, had recommended against his going public on this. I guess they were open to him continuing to investigate, but not do so publicly because it would influence the election or have the appearance of doing just that 11 days out. What did you make of that?
Well, my understanding is that that included the Attorney General of the United States, and if that indeed is the case, I find that passing strange. She certainly was not at all concerned about him not following protocol when, as the FBI director and not as a Justice Department prosecutor, he made it clear earlier on that there was not going to be a prosecution in the case. He is simply trying to be balanced in this approach when he's already done things that were praised by some of the people who are criticizing him now. And I think he has to maintain the integrity of the department by making it clear that what was said earlier and what Mrs. Clinton has been repeating over and over again is no longer the case.
All right. We'll watch closely. Sir, thank you for taking the time.